Hey y'all, it's Neo. Welcome to my first YouTube video, period. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about this theory that I have surrounding sickle cell. And I'm going to be basing this off of a show called SupaCell that is available on certain platforms. I don't know if I can mention those up here because I don't want to get copyrighted or anything like that. But just look up the show SupaCell, SupaCell. The first thing that really triggered me with this show was the fact that in the series, one of the first things that happened off the rip was when he went into the future, and it was 7/9/24 when this event took place that they were going to kill his, significant other or whatever. Today is 7/9/24, so I know this is divine. In the show, there are multiple scenes where they are talking about sickle cell. However, the first episode, they start off talking about all the missing people, specifically all of the missing black people or the missing people with neuromelanin in their skin. Now, this show highlights 5 people who all have parents or grandparents that have the sickle cell mutation. If you don't know what the sickle cell mutation is, it's basically a blood disorder where there is a mishap in the genetic code that causes your blood cells to go from round, looking like donuts like this, to a sickle shape. I don't know if I can make that, but it looks like a crescent moon. However, you have the sickle cell mutation, and then you also have the sickle cell trait. Basically, the sickle cell trait means that you are a carrier for the sickle cell mutation. However, you do not have the actual disorder. Now, earlier this year, I was actually doing some research surrounding the actual mutation, and I found out that most people of African descent have sickle cell anemia or the sickle cell trait. Now, if you do not have neuromelanin, you cannot get sickle cell. However, there is another disease that they're trying to say is similar to sickle cell, who those who have pseudomelanin can receive. This is what they refer to as thalassemia. Now we're going to move into the show, now that you have a good background. In the show SupaCell, the sickle cell patients produce offsprings with the trait. Those are the people who had the powers, not the ones with the mutation. My best guess is, and this is just a theory on my end, that the reason that the offspring with the traits are able to have the powers is because the mutation affects you negatively. However, having the trait gives you the immuno abilities of sickle cell mutation. You just don't have all of the pain and discomfort that comes with having the mutation. Basically, you have a genetic code switch that works in your benefit, which is why you get those superpowers. Most people with sickle cell trait have a higher chance of overcoming diseases and actually have a higher immune property level. This is just based off of my research. Now, your powers lie dormant until they are activated, and the only way that you can activate them is by knowing that they exist. Until then, you'll just blindly activate them thinking that, it's just power. This power is triggered by adrenaline, or what they refer to as liquid gold. Why do you think they always keep you in a stressed state of mind? Stress brings about this adrenaline and causes it to rush up through your blood. However, once you master this fear or master your ability to keep calm, it actually strengthens the powers and makes them easier to manage. However, this comes with great responsibility, which is why I also try to talk to people about learning how to manage your anger, learning how to manage things inside of you that make you feel uncomfortable, because that is how you control your superpowers. Sabrina in the show, she symbolizes Sabrina the teenage witch, and her ability was telekinesis, so she could lift things just with her mind. These are the superpowers that we're actually about to get, and I think they've been upgraded as of recently. That's why they're coming out with more shows like this to kind of show you or like give you an idea and put it in your face without really sitting there telling you. Also, Michael, which can be referred to Archangel Michael, symbolizes leadership. He symbolizes strength. He symbolizes being the one to guide everybody else because he has the strongest power. He probably just doesn't see it, just like Morpheus in The Matrix. Andre symbolizes strength. He has like Hulk strength. But you have to also realize he had to learn how to maintain that strength, because when he was in prison and in places like that, he really sat there and was like, okay, I need to figure out like how I'm gonna maintain my emotions, how I'm gonna maintain my anger, because I have a son that I have to live for. All of these are examples of learning to maintain your emotion or your energy in motion. I've told y'all 1,000 times, energy in motion is so strong, because not only is that coming from the external stimuluses that cause you to have those feelings, but now you're taking your energy along with the energy of that external stimulus and you're actually pushing it back out. Those are your emotions. So if they wanted to utilize their powers, they had to learn how to manage their emotions, or they would just use them uncontrollably. This is how it works in this realm too. You have to learn how to maintain and manage your being in order to utilize your powers. This is why it's also important to recognize that things are bigger than the government. The government is non-existent. You are your own government, literally. People are put in place to watch over you and manipulate you and to make sure that you don't achieve the highest strength that you can achieve. But other than that, you don't have anybody stopping you. You are your own government. Now, how does all of this relate to sickle cell? Why did they just target sickle cell out of everything? Well, when I was taking some college courses, I actually noticed that in most of my classes, which were science classes, they were talking about sickle cell. Mind you now, before literally recently within the past couple of years, I have not heard nobody talk about sickle cell. The only reason that I know about it was because my family instilled that into me, because that is something that I needed to know. However, most people that I've asked, like, they don't even know what sickle cell is. And so it's just ironic that now all of a sudden they're putting all this information out there to students to get them to want to be interested in the research. But my thing is, why are y'all trying to get them interested in the research? What is it that you're not telling us? This is where this show comes in. This show literally highlights and shows y'all that things are a lot bigger than the race card that they try to pull. It's not necessarily about race, but more so about the biology behind the races. You have to understand that people with neuromelanin have a higher chance of carrying this trait that gives them these superpowers. So wouldn't it be smart to really sit there and think that the reason that these minorities are going missing so much is because they're trying to harvest that from them? In the show, they also had people locked up in what you would consider like prison cells, and when they needed them for their powers, when they wanted to suck their power out of them, guess what they did? They took them, they used them for their power, and they locked them back up in that cell. That's how it looks when you get trapped in those cycles. That's how it looks when you allow people to put you in a box. I told you, a box is a machine used to trap your energy. Those 4 walls, 4 corners are used to trap your energy. This is why the cycle of the 4 that I mentioned on my TikTok video is so important. Think about it. Plasma centers. How many people are literally getting paid to donate their blood? But you have so many people on the waiting list for blood transfusions. You have so many people on the waiting list for organs, but you have so many organ donors. It's not adding up and it's not making sense. Why do people have to pay so much money for sickle cell treatment when y'all know that there are herbs, there are other medications to get them better? But instead of you getting them better, you want to keep treating them so you can keep harvesting their energy. Come on, y'all gotta follow. Like, you thinking you just going to make money, to feed your family, but you don't even realize that you're literally putting yourself at risk for being discovered. This is why in the Bible they tell you, do not let them take your blood. A lot of elders that I talked to would not get their blood tested. They would literally tell their doctor they would do any kind of other method rather than getting their blood tested, because your blood is sacred. Your blood is literally the stream or the flow or the river that lives inside of you, that produces life. All of your nutrients come from your blood. All of your hormones run through your blood. Your blood pumps your muscles. Your blood runs through your heart. Your blood is responsible for a lot of processes in your body. So why wouldn't you hold it as sacred? There are multiple scenes in the show where they're actually showing you taking the blood from a deceased lady's corpse to use for testing. Do y'all not know what that sounds similar to? Oh, I'm gonna put her picture right here. Miss Henrietta Lacks, the lady that had the immortal cells that never died, and they actually stole those cells from her back in the 1950s, did not give her family compensation until 2013, utilized her cells to make polio vaccines and all kinds of other things that help heal a lot of people. However, her family did not know. She passed away not knowing that they had collected her cells, and she had simply just went in there for a cervical check, y'all. This is how much I'm telling you. You have to watch who you trust in with your body. They want you to trust them so much with your body so that they can utilize it as the vessel that it's supposed to be, to heal, to nurture, to guide, to protect. That is what your vessel is supposed to be used for, not for exploitation, not for money, not for none of that. It was actually a character in the show, Rodney, when he was utilizing his powers for monetary gain. He wasn't really getting much with them. He was just using them up, and constantly eating too. And y'all remember, I had a video where I told y'all, I was like, if you're constantly eating, if you're constantly tired, if you're constantly doing things around certain people or around certain energies that make you feel drained, that is not an energy that you're supposed to be a part of. And so he wasn't getting the results that he needed because he was using his energy for the wrong things. This is why it's important to stay on your journey. When your spirit gives you a task, stay on that task. Don't let nobody take you from that task. Don't let nobody tell you that task is not for you or that task should not be completed that way. That is your task. Another really important piece of information in the show is how they utilize these people's loved ones against them. Most of the people with powers, including the people that were locked up in the little prison pods, their families loved them. They were worried sick about them. These are people that really care about them. They don't know where they're at. They just think that they're missing. And even the little girl, when her dad was looking for her, he straight up told the social worker, I don't have nothing for you. I'm not doing nothing to help you. But then went back later and ended up helping her. But anyway, that's only because he had that energy. He really wanted to help his daughter. He wanted to see his daughter succeed. And not only that, but his daughter had cured him of his sickle cell mutation. His daughter that was born with the trait cured his sickle cell mutation. This is why I say also kids are very important to you, because little do you know your kids might be sent here to change your life or to remove those stressors from your life. The dude Rodney, they used his friend Spud, beat him up real bad just to sit there and manipulate him. They utilized Sabrina's sister to manipulate her. They utilized what was his name? Andre. They utilized Andre's son and got him into the gangs to manipulate him. They utilized Michael's wife to manipulate him, and also his mom, who had sickle cell. Another thing is too, the way that the gangs were taking place in the story, the gangs, you thought gangs were there to sit there and, just commit black on black crime. But little do you know, most of the people who are associated with taking the powers in the story, most of the people in this world, most of the people who are associated with stealing power from the community are the people that look like you in your community. They're just using their powers for bad instead of good. So when you're sitting there and you're killing people that look like you, you're lessening the chance of us actually being able to do something, because you're using your power for bad. This is why they refer to black magic or dark magic as bad, because it is taking that energy source within you and utilizing it for a lower or a negative vibratory function. Think about it. Most of your great leaders, or most of the people who were actually activists and stuff, they threaten their family members. Think about gangs. They threaten their family members. They threaten your family because they know that's a direct link to your heart chakra. And the heart chakra is the bridge between the lower chakras and the higher chakras. Just like your physical, you here on this physical plane, is the bridge between the heavenly plane and the hell plane. Another important thing to note with this show is that the Avengers was literally modeled after us. The superheroes, the Hulk, all of these people that have all of these powers, you have those powers too. If you, like I said, if you if you fit all the criteria, then you have the potential to have those powers. They just may be laying dormant. But the Avengers and like all of the superhero movies and stuff, that was modeled after people who have powers. That was modeled after people who know how to use their gifts for the benefit of humanity, for the benefit of the gods and goddesses, for the benefit and advancement of their people. They didn't want to use their gifts for bad. They didn't want to use their gifts to harm people. They simply just wanted to use their gifts to help the people that they love and the people that they hold near and dear to their hearts. Think about John Wick. That man didn't want to kill nobody, but when y'all kill his dog, oh, he was ready for war, baby. Okay. So when they're telling you about black on black crime, like I just sat here and thought about it. Black on black crime, think about if you put magic in there. Black magic versus black magic. You're utilizing people who have dark matter energy. Utilizing people who have dark matter energy to fight against people with other dark matter energies. Does that not sound like black on black crime? Okay. This can also go with the witchcraft versus voodoo or hoodoo thing, because you got to think about it. The history of witchcraft is basically those who practice hoodoo and voodoo and those who practice black magic that were neuromelanated taught people who had pseudo-melanin, or what you refer to as white people, how to use magic, how to use the elements. This is why in the show, the people who were trying to capture the superheroes or the ones with the powers, they had powers too, but they were utilizing and manipulating elements. There's a difference. There's a difference between actually having the powers inside of you and learning to master and utilize the elements. When they were teaching them witchcraft and stuff like that, they were teaching them how to use the elements and how to make the elements work for you. But it takes you having that black matter energy, that dark matter energy, that creative or divine feminine energy, that neuromelanated energy to really sit here and make something work, like drastically change. Then if you know how to use that energy, you will also understand that is utilizing the elements just on a different level. Speaking of the elements, did y'all notice how when their eyes changed a certain color, they didn't go to like blue or green or anything like that? They changed into like a fiery orange or yellow. What does that mimic? The sun. And what did I tell y'all? The sun mimics your soul. Your soul is a miniature version of the sun, and the eyes are the windows to the soul. Therefore, if you really wanted to take a good glimpse into your soul, you would look in somebody's eyes. When their souls were burning and with fire and enraged, their eyes changed that color. They were angry. They had their adrenaline rushing through them. And so their eyes changed to the color to match the fire that was within them in their soul. This is kind of what it visually looks like to see someone's kundalini energy raising, to see someone's Christos oil or Christ consciousness raise all the way up to the pineal gland in the top of their head. Okay? It takes adrenaline, it takes blood, it takes force to actually make that happen. So in the show, when that happened, their eyes reflected their soul. In summary, don't let them sit here and tell you that every being is the same. Every being has the same capabilities. Every being possesses the same powers. No. Biologically, we have differences. Biologically, we have things that give others an advantage over others. Like I said, in the show, there were people from different ethnicities, people of different races, white people, black people, fighting with the elements. However, only people who had that trait, the sickle cell trait, were able to utilize their powers like telekinesis, super strength, teleportation, things like that. Those were the ones that could do that. And so seeing the things that's going on in the world today, is it just not a coincidence that they're putting out this show at such a perfect time? And not only that, it's not even an American show, it's a British show. And so y'all know that Britain is like literally America's daddy. So of course it's gonna hit first over there before it hits over here. But just wait, y'all. Like, literally, I'm telling you, ever since the eclipse, I have been feeling something different. Like, it's like more people are awakening. And when I say awakening, I don't mean like coming to consciousness about the things going on in the world. I don't mean, simple things. I mean, like, literally, you have people who are out here moving like they have protection over them, because they do. They know their purpose. You have people moving in such ways that you would have never seen them move before, because they have new powers. You have people who are all of a sudden blowing up. Like me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't expect to blow up like this, y'all. I didn't expect to literally a couple of months into the year be making a YouTube and having hundreds of thousands of views and subscribers and people that like my content. I didn't expect that. But because I started utilizing the power within me and getting stronger with the things that I knew how to work with, my strengths, and actually not downing myself for my weaknesses, but learning how to maneuver around those and use those for my benefit, things start working out for me. So basically what I'm telling y'all is this show could be looked at as a reflection of your life. Literally, you may not have the sickle cell trait, but you still are able to work with the elements. You're still able to do the things that you are able to do. You only limit yourself to what you think that you're not. You're limiting yourself to. Even if, like I said, you don't have neuromelanin in your skin, you still have a job to do. You still have things to do to benefit all of the beings on this plane. You picking your side. Are you going to choose to fight for what's right and choose to fight to better this planet? Or are you going to be selfish and want to utilize your powers for bad, or want to utilize your powers against the very same people who have the possibility and capability to change the world? You get what I'm saying? Like, you using your power to keep a group of people oppressed that should not be oppressed. This is why in the show they use the gang members, they use the people who had nothing to lose to fight against those who had everything to lose. This is one of those shows that, like, really is eye-opening, but if you take it in a physical or a literal context, it will make a lot of sense. But if you also take it and apply it to your spiritual or your mental aspect, it would make a lot of sense as well as to how things are going metaphysically. I don't like to separate the masculine and the feminine because people like to associate that with gender, but you have to understand that you have masculine powers just like you have feminine powers. You have dark powers just like you have light powers. You have good powers just like you have bad powers. You have strengths just like you have weaknesses. That is the law of duality. That is a main universal law that you should always think about. Everything has an equal and an opposite. So what side are you going to pick to be on? Are you going to pick to be on the side that fights to help, fights to heal, fights to nurture? Or are you going to be on the side that fights to destroy, fights to tear down, fights to oppress and suppress? Once again, peace and love. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me here. More videos like this to come. I'm not gonna say that this will be like very often, but I will say that the videos that I post on my TikTok will kind of tie back into what I'll be talking about on my YouTube. It'll just be more in depth. I love each and every one of you. Remember to keep the peace. Keep yourself together. Keep yourself whole. Don't let yourself separate, because this is not peace. This is war. Keep yourself together, because division is what causes war. Division is what causes separation. Division is what causes you to fight yourself. You know, in that song when Moneybag was talking about me versus me, that's literally all it is. It's you versus you. So make sure that you are balancing yourself. Make sure that you're connecting with yourself, learning yourself, talking to yourself about things, being there for yourself. Like those people in the show, you have to learn how to utilize your power. Learn when to fight a battle. Learn when to just let it go and walk away. Learn when to use your energy for good and learn when to use your energy for bad. And when I'm saying bad, I'm not really saying like that's gonna harm somebody, but I am saying learn how to transform your pain into passion. Learn how to transform your pain into passion. Learn how to transform your pain into passion. I say, baby.